If your cat disappears at the first sight of your cat carrier, you're not alone. Generally, cats will not enjoy being contained in a cat carrier as they are not in control of the situation or may have had a bad experience in one previously. One thing that is for sure, there will be times you need to place your cat into a carrier for essential vet visits or perhaps moving house. And it's essential your cat is prepared for this in order to reduce stress for them as much as possible. So, in this video, we'll take you through a gradual step-by-step process of how to train your cat to be comfortable in a cat carrier. Make your cat carrier a part of your cat's everyday environment. This means keeping the carrier in sight at all times and not tucked away in the cupboard. This way, when the day of a vet visit comes, the sudden sight of you and the carrier is not a trigger for them to run away and hide. Your cat needs to build positive associations with you being around the cat carrier, so ensure to interact with them at times when you're not trying to get your cat into it. You can make the carrier more appealing by keeping a blanket with their scent on inside and spraying with a pheromone spray. You may find they even curl up and go to sleep in there as they get used to it. For this technique, we recommend using a plastic front opening carrier that can have the top half removed. Place the bottom half of the carrier on the floor and place a blanket in front of the carrier. Kneel beside the carrier and place a treat on the mat. Hopefully your cat will go to the blanket and eat the treat. Reward standing, sitting, or resting on the mat with another treat and some fuss. This is so they develop a positive association with being on the blanket. Try to only engage with your cat if they are on the blanket. If they walk off, throw a treat back on to lure them back. Place the blanket in the bottom half of the carrier. Repeat the process of rewarding your cat with fuss and treats if they are staying on the blanket. Be sure to only engage with them if they are in the carrier. Repeat this stage until they are calmly resting on the blanket in the bottom half of the carrier. By now, hopefully your cat will start to feel that the blanket and the bottom half of the cat carrier is a positive place. With the blanket still on the bottom half of the carrier, add the top half of the carrier. Throw a treat inside the now complete carrier and hopefully your cat will enter to retrieve this. Repeat the process of throwing a treat in and rewarding with a fuss when they enter the carrier. To encourage your cat near the back, you can feed treats through the vents near the back of the carrier. Remember to only engage with your cat if they are inside or retrieving treats from the carrier. If your cat learns that treats only come when they are inside the carrier, they will associate it as a positive place. This particular stage should be practiced many times, perhaps over days or even weeks, before moving on to stage 4. Place the door on the front of the carrier, but don't close it. If your cat investigates the door by sniffing or rubbing up against it, reward them with a treat. Encourage your cat to enter the carrier by throwing treats into the back of the carrier or passing them through the vents at the back. Do not be tempted to shut the carrier door too soon, as this may alarm them and potentially undo all the great training you've done up to this point. This step is very important and one that must be done with extra care. It is important your cat feels in control of the situation at all times. Repeat the process of encouraging your cat into the carrier with treats, and once they are inside, try feeding them at the front, so they are facing the direction of travel. If they are calm, attempt to close the door momentarily while simultaneously feeding them a treat through the gaps in the door. Keep the door shut for no more than a second before opening it as wide as possible again. Do not lock the door at all during this stage. Hopefully, your cat will not be too alarmed by this, as they should now have built a positive association with the carrier. Repeat this process of shutting the door with your cat in the carrier and feeding them a treat through the door several times. Build up the time you hold the door shut very gradually. If at any point they become alarmed or panicked, return to the previous stage of feeding them in the carrier with the door open before you're sure you can return to this step. Once your cat is comfortable being fed with the door to the carrier closed for a decent amount of time, you can now lock the door, feeding them a treat as you do so. Continue to treat them through the door all the time they are showing no signs of stress. If they do, you may need to go back a step. By now, your cat should be comfortable being in the carrier with the door shut, but it is now important to show your cat that the carrier will move. Show them this by gently moving the carrier forwards along the floor a very short distance and rewarding them with a treat if they stay calm. Do not raise the carrier off the floor at this stage. Over several sessions, gradually increase the amount of time the carrier is moved along the ground and reward them each time. The final stage is to show your cat that the carrier will move off the ground. Lift the carrier straight up off the floor a short distance and for a short time, then place it back on the ground and reward them with a treat if they have remained calm. Gradually build up the height in which you lift the carrier until you're able to stand up straight without causing the cat any distress. You can then increase this to walking a short distance with the carrier before treating them. Repeat the process, gradually building up the distance, walking both indoors and outdoors until you're eventually placing your calm cat in their carrier into the car. Training should always be kept short. 2 to 3 minutes a day is all you need. If your cat is particularly avoidant of the cat carrier, you may need to start the initial process further away, having the blanket in the middle of the room, then gradually moving it closer to the carrier. When using treats to train your cat, keep an eye on their weight. If they are having lots of training treats each day, adjust their meal times and quantities accordingly to compensate. When taking your cat away in the carrier for real, it may be the case that they are not allowed food, for example, due to an impending veterinary procedure. If you have trained your cat right, they should still voluntarily go into the cat carrier or should be able to be lured in and not given a treat. But once the cat is back home, it's worth doing a little refresher training to keep up the positive associations. We hope you have found this video helpful. Just remember, training your cat to get into your carrier in this way may take time, and you may have several points where you have to go back a step to be sure your cat is calm before progressing again. Be patient. Investing in training your cat in this way may be challenging initially, but it will hopefully yield plenty of calm vet visits and transportation for years to come. For more information, please visit our website.